like I always get like this every once in a while. I'm just like, why would God waste his time with me? So I've been trying to record this video since August, and like I went to my room and I got some wallpaper, and then there wasn't enough. Then I had to buy some more. Then I had to I had to. That's what I thought. It's a hard video to make, and I wanted to talk about so many things, but I thought first off, based on the feelings I've been having lately, that I wanted to talk about my lukewarmness. I've been a lukewarm Christian. I have to start from the beginning. Of course, my parents raised me well. They taught me about God and everything and Jesus, and we'd sit down and have lessons. They did a good job. I did not. And we had a good relationship. Well, I had a good relationship with God. I thought, well, as a kid, you don't really even think about not even religion, a relationship with God and Jesus. And that's something that stayed off of my mind quite often, because I was so distracted with wanting my eczema to get better, to have friends, possibly have a guy friend. By the way, never had one of those. I tried. That was just hand holding for 4 months. You know how that goes. And that was middle school. But yeah, I haven't had, around middle school, a lot of things happened. Middle school was my roughest point. I won't even say high school was. I did my first year of middle school virtually because I didn't want to start middle school off wrong, which I still did. I stayed unmotivated. And around this time, we weren't regularly having our lessons, and I wasn't really connected with God or Jesus. And we move again. We move again to a more populated area, a more diverse area. I developed a lot of confusion there. I met a friend that I'm still friends with to this day, but I had a lot of confusion over there, and that's where I didn't even really address God at all through middle school. I didn't address God at all, and elementary school, mixed. At home, not really at school because it didn't come up, but I don't know how to put this. I'm all smiling and stuff, but I'm confused as I think back to my relationship with God, and it didn't really start until high school because I was tired of trying to adjust to being the way that the other students wanted me to be or would only talk to me if I was that way. And I developed a persona in 9th grade, 10th grade mostly, primarily 10th grade. And it wasn't me, but I enjoyed playing that character. I wasn't really religious. One time a girl asked me the question, do I believe in Buddha? I was like, oh yeah. I was joking, but she took it seriously. And then whenever I told her I'm not, I was like, well, I'm confused. I believe certain aspects of religion, but not really like that. I lied because I wanted to, first off, I was lukewarm. Me and God and Jesus were no connection whatsoever. But after that experience and all of that stuff that went on, we had to move back to where I'd moved whenever I first came to Georgia. And I did not like that at all. I had to do the rest of my 10th grade year doing that, going to that school. Kind of glad I went back there. I got to catch up with a lot of people and rediscover different friendships that I had. I'm pretty sure those people would still be willing to have a conversation with me today. And I had some problems over there too, to where I was I was begging all summer to do virtual school. And this is where God really starts kicking in, because believe it or not, school has a big big part of a child's relationship with God and Jesus. And the reason I'm saying God and Jesus is because both relationships are very important. Like, very important. And I didn't realize that until later on. Because the devil, like, you know how people say the mind is the devil's playground? Well, it is. Like, still messing with me to this day. I had begged to come to do virtual school, and I was happy. And at first, it looked like I was going to go in this one school where I was going to get the chance to learn German. And I have a close connection with Spanish. So I wanted to try to expand my language inventory, if you will. But then a little bit before class started, like some weeks before class was going to start, my mom told me, oh, well, there's this Christian school, this private Christian school that we want to like put you in. I was like, oh, really? And because the public schools are already booked, like filled, and the other school, I don't know what happened with it, but I know that I ended up in that Christian school. And at first I was like, I'm not sure about that, but it was one of the best decisions my parents could have made for me. Had my parents not put me in that private Christian school, I would have such a different relationship with God and Jesus. But initially, when I first started, there's this teacher, and this one teacher made a difference in my life a lot. The very next lesson that we did, he had me, I don't know what it was, he had me laughing with the stories he told. I loved whenever he'd trail off talking about different experiences in his life that he could match up with the lesson. And I love how he tied God in with things. It always puts something heavy on my heart. And I was like, whenever I listened to him, I'd be like, wow, like this guy, this man, has changed my perspective on a lot of things. And another teacher, that I was whose class I was part of, he changed my perspective too. And that's because I had to learn, like, in classes like Old Testament, Revelation. That first teacher I told you about, he put some things on my heart. And even then, like when I was reading the Bible, I felt conviction on my heart, but I didn't act on it at all. I'd cry sometimes to myself. I'd feel this strong feeling of conviction, and I'm glad I know that word now because I didn't know before, for how I lived my life. And the thing is, it affected more than me. It affected my siblings, my certain relationships that aren't supposed to be strained at all. Friendships. I regret certain friendships that I've made over time because, like, they grew up slightly differently, or they have different beliefs. And the thing is, those questions never came up in our friendships or relations. And because they never came up, because I hated serious conversations. I wanted to live in this fantasy that I came up with inside of my head. Wanted to live a life that I wanted. I wanted tattoos. I don't have anything against people who are already tattooed, but I do have something against tattoos. Especially with my skin issue that not only I but other members of my family have. I feel negatively towards tattoos. I feel negatively about sex before marriage. Whenever I've developed these spiritual ties with people, and I'm not talking about like sexual, because like I'm still a virgin happily, and I've never done it. I haven't even had my first kiss. I'm about to be 19 this month. I haven't had my first kiss yet. And I'm glad that I saved it up. I'm saving it for the person who I'm supposed to have that type of spiritual tie with. And I feel like you can have those with friends, just not in the way that you would like the man you are to marry or woman you are to marry. But you notice it's harder to tell your friend the truth unless you're just a blunt person than a random stranger on the street, because you have built a relationship, you have ties with them, you care about them, you love them. This video is supposed to be about me being a lukewarm Christian, and I'm going to continue with that because like I want to get on to some other conversations, but my relationship with God, I had a sin that I was addicted to, and I knew that it was wrong because I was like, why do I feel like this? And because of that, I felt like conviction without even knowing what it was. I felt conviction before, so I prayed about it a little bit. I asked for forgiveness, and then sometimes I'd repeat it. But there was this one time I, for some reason, had the idea, fill your tub with cold water. I had the lights off in the bathroom and kind of baptized myself. I won't say that. I made not really a pact. I told God certain things. I was like, if I ever do this again, that is my ticket to hell. And ever since that time, I've never done it anymore. And I'm not sure if it's out of fear or what. Like every once in a while I get tempted now, but I no longer have the addiction. I no longer have the connection to that sin. That school really changed my life. Like, it really changed my life. And the thing is, I haven't been, like, ever since the latter part of the school year, like, I graduated a few months ago. No, I technically graduated in September because that's when all the documentation and stuff came out. But, yeah, I'm still struggling with being lukewarm, and that's what I'm trying to get to, but it's taking forever. I have always wondered why these people put all this background information in their videos. But yeah, I see why now. The only reason I know that I'm a lukewarm Christian is because of certain experiences I've had, like my closeness to God seems to be strained a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out what it's about. I think it's because of the medicine I'm taking to get off of medicine, because I feel like I'm not really 100% there with God because I'm depending on medicine to get me by. And the thing is, this is supposed to be temporary, but the medicine I was on prior to this medicine was supposed to be temporary. My lukewarmness, I don't even feel like it's really lukewarmness. I feel like it's, my conviction is so bad that I'm like, why would God waste his time with me? And that itself is a sin, because that's like disrespecting God. Like, I bet he's feeling like, oh, so you think I'm wasting my time? You're gonna disrespect me like that? But I'm still struggling with that today. And most people are like, they're crying in church like, oh, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve you. But I feel like I trust God, I believe God and Jesus exists, especially recently with things that I've gone through. I'm like, why would God waste his time with this weak, flipping, little insignificant person who is me? And I think that I always get like this every once in a while. I'm just like, why would God waste his time with me? And with people in this world verbally bashing you like, oh, this idiot believes in God and stuff, it just kind of makes it hard to, like, I don't know, I'm trying to stand up for what I believe in, but I'm barely doing that on my own. Like, I'll procrastinate, kind of try to distract myself from what I'm going through mentally. And I think that's why I've been in my Bible more frequently than I have my whole life. Like, when I was younger, I'd start in Genesis, and I mean, grown-ups have this problem. Like, I'd get so distracted in the details that I'd just stop after, like, chapter 4. But, I'm always like, why would God waste his time with me? But at the same time, like, I mean, he had Jesus to die on the cross for all of us. And I think it's selfish to think, why would God waste his time with me? Because I'm only thinking about myself. Some people have it, a lot of people have it worse than me. So I don't understand why I keep on constantly thinking, why would God waste his time with me? That's where the lukewarmness comes from. I think lukewarmness, it's like, and I try to explain to friends or the little bit of family that I do deal with, like try to explain these different things to them, and it's like certain people aren't listening, and they'll say things, and I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, you can't get someone to believe in God. You can't force anyone to. Like, He gave us free will, and that is true. But it's really hard, especially whenever you see people you love and care about going down the wrong path. All you can do is pray for them after that. You'll bring it up. That's all I have to do. And I want to bring more people closer to God, because whenever, like, I want to bring more people closer to God, because I don't want anyone suffering punishment in hell. I felt a conviction for not starting with my videos, because I've never really had friends. I have one friend that I've been friends with since 8th grade. That's it. Like, between moving and people's different views on certain things, I don't really have friends, and I know that it's a lonely road to walk. But I still want to reach people, and that's my issue. So I'm doing what I was told to do, or doing what it was put on my heart to do. Because lately, when things have been put on my heart to do, it's like, there's only been positive things that have happened from those. Like, one situation was put on my heart to talk to this person, and once I did, it cleared the air. It's been a while. That's all I can say. It's been a while. And I don't know. I feel like that's where the lukewarm part comes from. And then whenever I was younger, I used to think, well, would God really send himself in that form to come? Because that just seems unrealistic. You know how many things seem unrealistic? There are things in my life I still can't explain, because I can't explain it. It was God and Jesus.